So, do you guys remember when I put gameplay videos on my channel? Because I don't. Holy cow, has it been a while. I am excited to be playing some games again. I took a bit of a break when the Forgotten Hero patch hit because there was a whole bunch of bugs running rampant. I tried playing a little bit, and I was running into them nonstop. I know that some people have reported they barely saw them, but if you weren't familiar with what was going on, Bone Colossus was bugged, Embassy Disguise was bugged, and some of the random effects and or darker burst stuff was just causing the game to like crash out and cause both players to lose. It was not a fun time. So between that and just soul crippling clinical depression that flares up during the winter, I disappeared for like a week. So wasn't recording videos, I wasn't really streaming. I super apologize. It happens, and since that time I've started playing again, and I thought I would, at least this week, try to record like 2 games apiece on a bunch of different decks that I've been playing that I think are a lot of fun in the post-Forgotten Hero meta. You're going to see my rank is not where it normally would be at this point in the month because, again, I haven't been playing, but yeah. So today, for this video, we're going to be playing 2 games on Altar Assassin. Now, this is an Altar Assassin list. Let me do my little recording here. We're going first against Scout. This is a list that's designed to basically be a control deck that draws 1,000,000 cards while also using Altar of Despair to shuffle a big chunk of your deck out. And then, do I even care if they trade there? I don't think so. And then you use, you know, the broken combo. I say broken combo. I honestly don't think it's like super broken, but people have been lamenting it. Of Journey to Sovngarde, followed by Tullius Conscription. Now, this list runs 2 copies of Conscription, mostly because we run a lot of 2-drops, and in the event you haven't somehow magically drawn your Journey yet, even with like all of the card draw in this deck, the idea is that if necessary, you can use one of your Conscriptions as a panic play. Alright, so there's a couple of different ways that we could go about this. Murkwater Witch does make it so that the 2 of these can't trade into this, but in truth we kind of don't care if there's a trade there. So I think we just do this to draw a card, get the schemer value going, and then pass. Now, we could attack in, but then he gets that, and then he gets that, and we want him to get both potentially attacking there, because that would have to get Thieves Guild Recruit out of the way even still for us. And then this plus a Murkwater Witch could potentially take care of that. Alright, so our opponent is on Ramp Scout here.
Gotcha!
Yeah, I think that's probably still fine. I was just trying to decide what I wanted to do now. Murkwater Witch here makes the most sense, but then we're just playing Courier afterwards. Which isn't horrible, I guess.
My sword hand itches.
Again, we're really just trying to stall. Our opponent is on Ramp Scout, which does mean they have some level of inevitability. But we do as well with our combo, and we have drawn the pieces. So as long as we load up our grave enough beforehand, it should be fine. The one downside to playing against Scout is Shadowfen Priest and then Soltaire's on said Priest mean that our altars typically don't get the kind of value they would in other matchups. But
what have we here?
Alright, so this is going to trigger next turn. Relatively problematic.
You waste my breath.
Let's go ahead and draw a card, because that's what we do. We draw cards. 3, 4, 6. Just trying to decide if I want to play this here to saturate, because then if we dive both in, we could journey even as early as next turn, even though that's not a lot of dudes. And then if he also has like any sort of removal, it telegraphs. So I think we pass here. I don't think we're gonna, even with those two in the grave, I don't think we're gonna journey at that point. That wouldn't even give us a full board with journey and conscription. Well, it would because of our other 2-drops, but
By bark and
alright, so we've got the removal there.
my scales move in shadow.
Which is a bit of a bummer. Not much we can do about it though. Kind of want a Harpy over here, but I think it's more like Harpy over here with Black Hand and Firebolt. Black Hand's going to put us at 31, which means that would still give us a rune. But he won't because it would be Harpied. Other option could be Giant Snake, but I feel like we're going to need to save that. So
The Night Mother will guide us.
that will be our stall plan. Probably play that into Baroness next turn. Again, this deck really just tries to draw like a million cards. Even if you have to give up a couple of 2-for-1s to kill things, it's pretty rare that you fall behind in overall card advantage just because you know, we've already drawn 4 extra cards already. This will be a 5th extra card, so what this deck lacks in initial card quality, it tends to make up for
The waters of life
with just raw
I will
numbers.
protect the Hist.
Oh, a second
My
preserver
scales
is
move in shadow.
not what we wanted to see. And Ice Storm, well now I'm regretting not putting that over there, but we did not have the Ice Storm before.
Let's go then. My time is precious.
Nice try. Care to
Alright,
go
and we
again?
have 2 Ice Storms, okay. So we might take a pretty sizable chunk of damage here, but if we can set up a board clear for next turn, and that's a big if right now, because he's going to do some things, but if we can set that up, I think we'll actually be coming out in pretty good shape, because then our grave will be full enough that we
By
can
bark and root.
probably start the combo.
By bark and root.
Seed and bleed.
My
But again, we're going to take a sizable amount of damage here.
Hiding will not save you.
These
Alright,
streets are
let's
mine.
go ahead and draw a card before we decide what we want to do. So we're pretty close to clearing the board. We can clear, I think, everything but this. This here. Because we have Ice Storm and Black Hand Messenger. And we'd want to pull this off the board because it's the bigger threat, plus that means we could just Firebolt this potentially the following turn.
Gotcha.
Also, not playing this Black Hand until post Ice Storm, because even though we would have gained some more health, I didn't want to give him a rune. So we're back to having a million cards. We took some damage. As long as we can survive.
Drem your lock.
Of course, I say as long as we can survive, and then the worst possible card that we could have seen there comes down. 15 cards into the deck, and we're already dealing with Nahagleave and Paarthurnax. Not fun.
I lurk in the
See if this gets us.
waiting.
I think we're for sure doing this. Probably giant snake here. So then what is our other option? I think it's just draw a card.
What have we here?
The best we got. Yeah, Paarthurnax was incredibly problematic for us there. Might actually be enough for him to win the game. We could have probably dealt with more smaller creatures because of the removal in second Ice Storm, but that was big enough. Level 2 Fire Breath. No Es Bueno. We actually, I don't think, can get enough damage on this to stop it either. Which is, again, pretty problematic. We might be looking at Ice Storm, Brotherhood. We might have to courier over here, just so that he hopefully doesn't pelt us in the face with Parth.
My scales move in shadow.
I lurk in the shadows, waiting.
My sword hand
It's gonna be the
itches.
best that we got. Tazcad's a real problem. Removal's a real problem. Shadowfen
You
Priest,
must be
yeah.
cleansed.
Alright. So that didn't go super well, but that just was a Paarthurnax problem. We had all of the tools to win. Just no way to deal with a Paarthurnax that early in the game. So we'll take it for another spin. I'll have to watch that one back. I'm not sure. Potentially there were some misplays made. I'm not sure what they would have been offhand. It's just really hard for us to deal with a 9/9 body without doing something. Perhaps, as I think about it, maybe the solution was actually to play the conscription even without the journey. Because we do have a second one in the deck, and we might have been able to just pull out like a Harpy, a Murkwater, and things like that just enough to stall. Alright, so if this ends up being against Token Crusader, this is a pretty decent opening hand for us, so... Oh, okay. That, however, does not look much like Token Crusader. Couldn't do that. We could just Wordcrafter to contest for the field, but then he'll get a free whack in. And if he has like Circle Initiates, could trigger the Beast Form. If they've got like Eastmarch Crusader, that auto triggers for that. Oh.
Perfect Stormcloak!
Alright, so these are both likely dead cards in this matchup, which is a little bit of a bummer. Also, all of the reasons that I just said to stall there, I think. So again, we could Wardcrafter and try to contest that, but I think trying to deny him the Rune Break for even just a couple more turns. With the ring, he could be coming up on Housecarl. He's already got the Assault, so he's going to draw cards anyway. Seems like a pretty good tap deck for us. So the other good thing is, even though this deck does contain a number of cards that could end up being dead draws, oftentimes...
Let's dance!
Well, we're telegraphing, but it's our best saturation, and we can't stop him from whacking us. I mean, we could Courier again, but... oftentimes, there's enough card draw in here to kind of keep you afloat. So there's the Circle Initiate. That's exactly the card that we were trying to prevent for so long. So all of those plays were correct. Relentless Raider, another card that I mentioned earlier. Again...
We obey.
My destiny is fulfilled.
We'll nuke the one in the shadow at the expense of taking 1 extra damage for the Raider.
We'll see how they like someone who fights
Well,
back.
that's annoying. I mean, not unexpected, but still annoying.
Careful there, friend.
Gotcha!
My sword hand
We're gonna go ahead and do
itches.
that. Just try to speed bump it a bit. I'll still get a Rune Break again out of this, unfortunately.
We obey!
We had a pretty good turn coming, minus the Protector of the Innocent. Alright, so Brynjolf is a welcome sight. As long as we can get him
Come on then! I'll even
rolling,
let you
we'll
swing
be alright.
first. The Nords must take back Skyrim.
Alright, so... a little bit problematic. A couple of different paths here. So we could double Wardcrafter and Courier, which feels like probably the right play. Or we could single Wardcrafter, lose a creature, and play Brynjolf, but then we're going to be taking 8, 9, 10, probably 11. Like, we'll take so much damage from that we can't really afford it, I don't think.
Friend.
Gotcha! Go!
Careful there, friend.
Your blood will spill!
My sword
So-
hand itches.
We're going to go ahead and do that. I mean, we're still going to likely take a pretty hefty amount of damage here, but... we're certainly missing Ice Storm this game. Ice Storm would have been a
Come on then! I'll
very
even
welcome
let you
sight
swing first.
some time ago. Oh my gosh, Andy has the raiding
Time
party.
to fight.
This is not going to go well. We're still going to take all of that damage.
We obey.
Down to 8.
Trolls take
And then we're going to take 2 more because of the Firebrand.
Carlos.
Alright, so, and we still have not found an Ice Storm. A game-saving Ice Storm would be welcome any moment now. And yet, we cannot find it. So, it's gotta probably be, like, trade with as much of the board as possible and then play Black Hand and Brynjolf, I would imagine. I can't see any other play that makes sense at the moment. So like trade, 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 black hand this, trade, and then he's left with that and we'll be at 6. He'll have 2 cards. He could potentially, if he gets like 2 chargers, he could finish us off, but I'm not seeing any other
Your blood
plays.
will spill.
I'm not seeing any other plays that are better.
Your blood will spill.
Gotcha.
The Night Mother will guide us.
Tempted to put this here, but then he could also cram right into my Brynjolf. But if I'm here, then I have to give him a rune in order to heal. I don't know how I feel about that with the lack of removal we have.
Shall we put in a dishonest
So I think we risk
rank?
it. I think we risk it field. I'd much rather attack into a creature to heal. It also means that I can
Their defenses will crumble.
potentially... Oh, that's problematic.
For Ulfric
I was gonna say
Stormcloak.
potentially fill that lane to sacrifice some dudes.
What have we
Alright,
here?
let's see what this gets us first. That's a very good
I
top
can
deck
smell
for us.
What
See what
have
this
we
gets
here?
us. Discount Journey. Alright, so we know he's gonna get a 5/5. Not much we can do about that.
I am ready to join the circle.
Orders.
Alright, and the Initiate. Oh, the Unkano is such a beautiful
My
top deck for us.
Shadow.
Such a beautiful top deck. So we can go up to 11, which really doesn't help us much, to be honest. We have probably enough that we could journey in a pinch.
I can smell your fear. My scales move in shadow.
I have many important things on my mind.
Good news is that Initiate isn't going to be transforming anytime soon.
I am defeated.
And they just concede. So without an Ice Storm and with a couple of dead cards, we still managed to cycle through and survive. And that's pretty common. I found this deck has a pretty good matchup against aggro, and a really decent matchup against control most of the time. Obviously the Paarthurnax game earlier was not ideal, but that's only the second loss I've actually had on this deck. So far this season with this particular list, I'll be 6-2 after that. I think there's some wiggle room in terms of like figuring out what else to put in it, but I like this deck. It's a lot of fun. It draws a lot of cards. The longer the game goes, the more insane it gets. Like, I think this might be able to outgreed many of the other really, really greedy lists. So yeah, it's just a lot of fun. That's it for today. Tomorrow we'll take a look at a different deck I've been playing. You can kind of see some of them here. There's a mid-range warrior I've been playing, Rage Archer I've been trying out with some new cards. I've been trying a numeric list, and then this is like an updated sorcerer list. Those are the ones I've been trying out so far. This one is kind of theoretical. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this, but yeah, look for videos on the other stuff. Thanks for watching, and as always, until next time, may you walk on warm sands.